to my channel. My name is Carolyn and this is my Flosstube channel, Carolyn Stitches, a channel about my cross stitch and any other hobbies I may be working on, such as counted canvas needlepoint, crochet, and I'm hoping to dip my toe back into my quilting this weekend. So welcome back everyone. Today is Sunday, May 28th, 2023. I'm trying to get this recorded in the morning before I get going on my day, on my activities. Sorry, I've pretty much just woken up. I'm tired. Let's see here. Welcome back to all my subscribers and returning viewers. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you for stopping over and checking out what I have to share. Sorry, once again, tired. So I have quite a bit to share in this video. I have my May activity of everything I stitched in May, and I attended a retreat, a Stitching in the Wild retreat in Fort Lauderdale last weekend. So I'll share that towards the end. And also I have been busy with some counted canvas needlepoint and have some finishes from that and some haul. So I'll also save that to at the end. So let's get into it, shall we? What's been going on? Those who have been following, I have my new manager started at work, our new director. She seems lovely. It's going to be a long while before she is brought up to speed in our industry. She has never worked in our industry before, and it can be quite unique. So there is a lot to learn. And those who may not know, I work for the state of Florida Department of Transportation in electronic tolling. So it is a lot to learn, but she seems eager. She seems very nice. So we're looking forward to seeing, how this relationship develops. So it's been busy with work. What else has been happening? I took a visit to the cross stitch cupboard at the beginning of the month. The first weekend in May, I went up to the cross stitch cupboard and I met my friend, I think Alicia was up there. Alicia, the Fancy Flamingo. Sorry, Alicia, I don't remember. Pretty sure I saw Alicia. If not, I definitely saw my friend. Yeah, I did see Alicia. Alicia was there. I stitched with Alicia. Our friend Missy showed up, and there was another lady. I want to say her name was Suzanne or Susan. But it was a nice day of stitching. I got some stitching done, and my plans are to be back at the cross stitch cupboard this upcoming Saturday, June 3rd, for additional stitching. I believe they're starting a Primrose Cottage stitch along. I won't be participating in that, but I'm going to go down and stitch and hang out. So I did some stitching at the cupboard. Attended the retreat. Oh, yesterday my husband and I went over and saw the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie as a matinee at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Bring some tissues. It has some very sad parts. Very little disturbing in a way, but just remember they're AI. They're not real. It's all computer generated. But it was a very good movie, and those who haven't seen it, Marvel always if you're a Marvel fan, and we are, Marvel always gives like little clips throughout their credits to like a peek of what's coming up in the next Marvel movies or what may be coming up in the future. Stick with it. You may see a clip halfway through the credits. That's only one of them. Stay to the very end of the credits because there's a second clip. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so let's get to it. You're here for my stitching, and I have a whip finish. I have, this was kind of a whip, but I finished it. A new start and finish, a couple new starts and finishes. I worked on some Whipco, so it's been busy. So first thing I worked on at the beginning of the month, and I think I was working on this at the end of the last month, was Scissor Sampler by Tella Emblem. And this was a stitch along with my StitchCon 2022 Table 9 friends, Caitlin and Morgan. We decided to do it as a stitch along to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Morgan cross stitching. So I met Morgan and Caitlin at StitchCon. The young ladies joined us at our table. I was traveling with 2 friends, and we welcomed them and joined them, and now we, I like to call them my friends, and we Zoom call once a month. So this was a stitch along we did together, and Caitlin and Morgan finished theirs, and they were waiting for this lady to catch up. So this was stitched on, I should have it, it's Atomic Ranch, I believe, 32 count Lugana Atomic Ranch Peaches and Cream, called for DMC. I use DMC. I don't know what it called for. If it called for fancies. Oh, it did call for it called for DMC and some weeks. I did use, I think I used some weeks in it. The weeks that were called for, but definitely DMC because I just put the threads back tomorrow. So there is it finished. Very pretty. Very pretty. I love this. It was great fun to stitch. The fabric's not coming up. You may see it here because this is very white. It's a very light, got a peachy tint to it, the fabric, if you can tell that here. But I finished that at the first of the month, and it was a fun stitch, and I'm happy to have it done. So I'm going to get it fully finished. I think I'm going to take it down to the cupboard and have it framed so I can hang it here in my sewing room. And the next time I see the ladies at StitchCon, I think I'll travel with it and bring it in person so I can put it on the brag table and share it. I'm not going to StitchCon this year. My plan and dream and hope is to go back to StitchCon in 2024. So there is Scissor Sampler by Tella Emblem. Okay, then I spent about 2 weeks working on counted canvas, and we'll save that to the end for those who are just here for the cross stitch, but if you're interested in counted canvas, stay to the end. Okay, so I went to the retreat. I went to the, actually I didn't go to the retreat, not yet, sorry. I started, excuse me, Halloween Quaker by From the Heart Needle Art, and I started this the weekend before retreat, and I was working on it in the evenings, and then I did finish it on the first day of retreat. So retreat started early Thursday morning, doors opened at 8 o'clock, and doors closed on Saturday at 5 p.m. So I finished this on first day of retreat, but I did start it the weekend before retreat. And this is Halloween Quaker by From the Heart Needle Art, and I stitched this on 32 count Lugana, Egyptian Sand by Mountain Air Fabrics. I don't have the pattern because I've already passed on the pattern, past the stash, to a table mate, who I will get into that, one of my table mates at the retreat. So this is Black Coffee, I believe, or black coffee. The black is the called for. The other colors here were Victorian Motto sampler thread conversion. It was only 3 colors, so I did a Victorian Motto sampler thread conversion. But that is Halloween Quaker. When I attended retreat, I think I had to finish this, and then everything up I finished at retreat. So I'm very happy with this piece. I do have quite a few in the series by From the Heart Needle Art. She has Quakers like this that are different themes, like spring, and I think I'm working on a Christmas one right now, but I'm doing that 1/1, and there's like a Halloween one, and then she has monthly ones also. So these are quite fun. As you can see, you know, they're not that big. They're very doable, small, just like a little sampling of a Quaker. So I'm very happy with that one. Okay. And then let's see here. Also at retreat, I worked on one of my whip goes. This whip go was called for May, number 23 for me, which is Mr. Claus. And those who've been following me along my whip go this year, this is the first time I'm participating in it, and all my whip goes are smalls. I'm just doing smalls. So this was Mr. Claus. It's a little Mill Hill holiday pin thing, and I worked on this Friday at retreat, and I finished him. And that is all the beads. You can see the beads. So this is an older Mill Hill kit. This Mill Hill kit is from 2001, and the beads, like, it was tight on the beads. One of the things you may note, because I did change something. Oh, I had to change. So his little cuff shows white. Charted on the pattern had his little cuffs green, but I changed it to white because I like the white better. And then his little package here has a white bow. I had to change it to a purple bow because I ran out of beads. I had just enough white beads to do where I needed it for his coat, his beard, and his cuffs. And that's all the number of white beads I had. I did not have enough white beads to finish the little bow here on the package. So I just turned it into a little purple bow. So what I did notice is on these older Mill Hill kit, like, that was not generous with the beads. It was like pretty much just enough beads to do the project, whereas some of the newer Mill Hill kits that I've been doing, there's so many beads included, I could probably stitch the patterns twice. So anyway, I did this Friday at the retreat and finished it. So I'm very happy with that little one. And then on the last 2 days of retreat, I stitched on one of my whips, which is my monthly whip that I work on. Sorry, I'm putting this back so it doesn't get lost. I stitched on my monthly whip that I like to work on every month. If you've been following along, I'm adding 1 block to this a month, and it's a Jardin Privé pattern of Fil de Snows, whatever it is. And as I discussed in my prior video, my pattern had April as a house and May as a carrot. And when I was on Instagram, I was following another stitcher's progress on this, and her pattern had April as the carrot and May as the house. And I mentioned this in a prior video. I went and looked it up on Jardin Privé's website, and sure enough, they're switched. My pattern has them this way. Jardin Privé's website has them switched. And like, I even checked out 123 Stitch, and they have this version I have. So maybe they caught it at some point and there was a correction. So I did a little switching. I switched them, and I recharted the months, the May and June. No, sorry, April and June, so it'll fit. And I stitched April last month, and at retreat I worked on the May block. And this is being stitched on 28 count linen, casual linen sand by Picture This Plus. And I finished the May block. This is all with DMC. The house took me 2 days to do that May block, which I was expecting it to, because you had to build that house, and that house was a bit large. So it took a little time to build that house. So I'm very happy that I am keeping up on this. I'm very happy that I saw the other stitcher's pattern in her version that had April and May as I stitched it here, not as my pattern had it. So the goal is every month stitch that monthly motif, and then by the end of the year I will have this finished. So there was that. And of course, when I go to retreat, I bring more than I think we all do. We have all these grand intentions that we're going to get all this stitching done. So I brought quite a bit of stitching with me, and I think I did pretty good. Did the Quaker, the snowman, and then that motif done in 4 days of stitching. I wasn't quite there all day Saturday because I had an appointment in the morning, and then I met my table mates, some of my table mates over at the Cross Stitch Cupboard while they shopped. And I was going back and forth each day, so it wasn't like I was, you know, staying there till midnight when the room closed. And then there was shopping and dinner and all that, but I think I did pretty good. I did have another small that I started, but it was full of fractional stitches, and I can't do that at a retreat, so I'm not even going to show that. That's such a small start. But I did, when I got back from retreat, I did bring these little projects with me to retreat. However, I never started them. But when I got home from retreat, I finished one, started and finished one, and I'm working on the other. So this first one is by Amy Brucken Designs. It's part of her Little Guys series. And this one is called Little Easter Chick. You can see the little guy here, the smiley face as a chick. And this one I stitched on 30 count Linen Peora Purple by Weeks Dye Works. And this only took a couple nights to stitch. It was stitching that big old chick, which took a while. So there is the little guy, all the back stitching around him. So I'm very happy with him. I think I'm going to try to finish him. They have it kind of like an egg. I think I'm going to try to do these as like, have these done as little stand-ups, so I can line them up around Easter. So there's that one. She has quite a lot in these series, and they're very cute if you happen to like Amy Brucken Designs. I think these are adorable with these little guys with the faces. I know I did another one at one time that was a cat that's fully finished in a prior one. So after I finished that one, the next one I started was out of the Little Guys series, was Little Bunny Egg. And he's got his little saddle shoes on and his little bunny face out of the egg. And this one I'm stitching on, sorry, let me look at the paper. I think this is also 30 count linen by Weeks Dye Works, Sophia's Pink. I wish I would have got the polka dot fabric that these were stitched on, but I'm happy with my choices. So this is Sophia's Pink, and I gotta have a little start on him. I started this one the other night. Easily enough, it took me a while to stitch that little face, but now I'm starting on all the chevrons, the stripes on the eggs. So that's that small start. Okay, give me 1 minute. Let me put this stuff back in my little project bag so I don't lose it. And what next? What do we want to get into next? Let's talk, let me talk plans. Then I'll talk retreat, because that has some haul in it. And then I will talk counted canvas needlepoint. So my plans. The WIPGO numbers called for June were numbers, I'm sorry, I'd show you my book, but I'd knock over my camera at this point. Numbers 4 and 16 were called for June. And my number 4 is this Potato Pincushion Mill Hill kit. And my number 16 is another Santa, St. Nick, Little Mill Hill kit. So I'm excited to start these. And another plan I have for June, I'm going to spin my WIPGO wheel. Those who haven't followed me, I have a wheel, an app on my phone. And I spin it at the beginning of every month. And I spin my WIPGO wheel, and that is my WIP I work on for the month. My WIP that I chose for the month of May is one of my counted canvas projects, which I will show you. So I didn't really spin my wheel. I didn't have needlepoint on my WIPGO wheel, but I'm spinning my WIPGO wheel for June. And that'll be my WIP that I work on for at least 1 week dedication at the beginning of June. And if I decide I'm enjoying the WIP, I will continue to work on it. If I've decided after a week I've had enough of the WIP, I will put it away, and I will either spin the wheel again if I'm feeling like it to work on another WIP, or I may start something else I want to work on, or pick any other WIP, whatever. It's free game, no rules. Okay, so this next project, which is a planned new start for June as a stitch along, I saw this as a shop sample at the Cross Stitch Cupboard in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They stitched this, and they stitched it on a different fabric that was called for. And when I saw it, I fell in love with it and said, yes, please, Karen, I must buy it. And I bought it, I don't know, quite a few months ago. It's been sitting in my stash. And when I was at the Cross Stitch Cupboard last Saturday with my retreat table mates, 2 of the ladies at my table, they also purchased the pattern and the fabric that the shop model was stitched on. And so we have agreed to do a stitch along. In this, I'm doing the stitch along with my table mates, Polly and Tony from Texas. And we are going to start the weekend of June 10th, 11th. One of the days on that weekend is when we're going to start. And the pattern we're going to do is Dirty Annie's Winter Reindeer. Very cute. I love these little reindeer. They have their bright little toes and their bright little nose. And the fabric I'm stitching it on, and this is what the shop sample was done on, is Fabric Flare. This is a 32 count linen by Fabric Flare called Fairy Dust. And this is what they stitched the shop sample on. And I absolutely loved it. It gave it such a cute bit of whimsy for Christmas. So that's the Winter Reindeer, and we're stitching it on this Fabric Flare this Fabric Flare fabric, Fairy Dust, and the reindeer. And then, so this calls for Classic Colorworks and Gentle Art. Not many flosses. It only calls for four flosses and then B5200. I've converted mine to, sorry, getting the flosses. I converted mine to Victorian Motto sampler threads. That red pops out, but you only really need that red for the reindeer's noses and toes. So I converted mine to Victorian Motto sampler floss. I wanted, the reindeer calls for Classic Color straw hat, which was looking a little too light for me, at least the skein I had, so I darkened him up a little, made a little, it's like a blue lavender color. And the blue's pretty much down here in the swirls and up on the star. So yep, that's where we're going to start June 10th and 11th. So join us if you'd like. It'd be fun if you happen to have this pattern. I'd like to see, you know, I'm gonna do a hashtag Winter Reindeer Sal, Winter Reindeer SAL on Instagram. So if you want to stitch along with us, I would that would be great to join us. So one of my other plans is in the needlepoint section of this video at the end, but let's get into it. Okay, so retreat was this past Thursday the 18th to Sunday the 21st, Stitching in the Wild retreat in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, put on by Gary and Ronnie of Garon Stitchery. This was their first retreat that they have hosted, and I will say that they did a wonderful job. There was about, I think they had 120 spots available. I want to say about 90 people came in. I know we had a lady from the Netherlands, and a lady from Costa Rica, and then ladies from various areas of the country. I got there early on Thursday because I do live within a half-hour drive, so I got to drive down Thursday morning in rush hour bumper-to-bumper traffic. I got there early, and being there early, I was able to kind of have my choice of tables to sit at, and I chose this table all the way in the back so I could like see the room and see all the action. And the other reason I chose this table, it was the one with fabulous light. There was it was like strategically placed under the light, so it had great lighting. Needless to say, I was kind of stitching on my own for a little bit because as all the people come in, they kind of fill up the tables in the front, and I'm like, you know what? Eventually, there'll be enough people here. Somebody will come join me. So later that day on Thursday, this lovely stitcher approached me, Kathleen from Snickerdoodle. Let me get it right because I got Snickerdoodle on my mind. Snickerdoodle Stitch. Kathleen, she's from Delaware. She has a floss tube. Please go check her out. She has a great variety of stitching that she does, and unlike me, she tends to get hers fully finished much quicker. But she's a fairly new floss tuber. I think she's on her 5th floss tube video. She's a very nice lady. I really enjoyed stitching with her and talking with her over the weekend and at the retreat. So go check out Kathleen at Snickerdoodle Stitch. She joined me, another stitcher, Chris, who is at the Ocala retreats I go to. She's from Florida. She joined us at our table. Later on, we had 3 ladies who kind of traveled together from Texas. Angela, Susie, and Diane from Texas. They joined us, and then we had Polly and Tony from Texas who joined us. So we had a great table. Lots of laughs, good conversation, and it was a good time. When you arrived at retreat, Gary and Ronnie gave you a little retreat bag, this nice little retreat bag. It's a good size bag. And inside the retreat bag, they had some goodies, a little mini project bag. Mine happened to be purple dragonflies. Everybody else's was a little different. They gave an Ort trash can, which I love this idea of a little Ort trash can. I love these. And we have a Gary and Ronnie Garon keychain. They gave a skein of floss that is, it will be exclusive to Gary and Ronnie. It's a Gary and Ronnie Garon color. It's called Garon's Colors, and it's from Rami's Creations. So I believe there's more of this available that Gary and Ronnie have on their website, Garon Stitchery. So it's this beautiful greens and yellow lime greens, and it is really a pretty color. So that is Garon's Colors. And also there were a number of free patterns in the bag. One is Stitching in the Wild by Rami's Creations. That's very cute with the little wild animals stitching. And then there is, Fox and Rabbit, Come Party with Frank was a free pattern, exclusive for the Garon Stitchery. And then there are 2 other little patterns by Stitchy Pros, and one is Hog Wild and Bee Wild. The Hog Wild, I'm not going to show the patterns. The Hog Wild says Hog Wild for cross stitch, and it has like a pig set in it. And the other one says Bee Wild, and it has a bee. So that was very lovely that they gave you this nice tote bag with some exclusive patterns in it and some little trinkets and some little gifts. That was very generous of the gentleman. Table mates and stitchers were just dropping gifts off like crazy at the table. I'm trying to get my hands around it all. There were some great gifts received from other stitchers and my table mates. I never think to do this stuff because sometimes I just don't have the energy or time after work. Somebody crocheted little Ort balls. Ort bowls, little Ort bowl. And I was like, wow, you crocheted like 100 and something of these. It's fabulous. I would have like given up after the 3rd one where I had to weave in all the ends on it. So that was very generous, a little Ort bowl. There was like a bowl of stickers going around. You could pick a sticker. This is a little floss ring. I think there's a magnet in there, the lady said. Table mates. I received a little flamingo scissor fob. Sorry, going through all these. We get cards from people. Seasook Stitch. She was there. Carolyn from Seasook Stitch was there. She gave a little sticker with her channel. I can't remember who was giving these out, but they're Garon Stitchery needle minders. Floss Drop, Stitching in the Wild. Someone made this out of a playing card. Somebody handled out a nice like counting pin. Very pretty. Another little floss drop decoration that says hashtag SITW 2023, which is supposed to be Stitching in the Wild. Stitchy Pros, the designer, she was there. The Stitchy Pros, the designer of Stitchy Pros was there. Stephanie from Hand Dyed Fabrics with Stephanie was there. 614 Stitcher, Deanna from Half Stitch Cross Stitch, Carolyn Zook from Zook Stitches. So there's a few Flosstubers there. A lot of the Stitchers, Gary and Ronnie, have a big Zoom community that Zoom Stitches, I believe, on Sundays. I never really have the opportunity to join those Zoom Stitches, so you could tell a lot of the people kind of like really already had, kind of already knew each other from Zoom and stuff. But then if you hadn't Zoomed with them, everyone was still very welcoming. So Stitchy Pros, it has a little bee charm on it, and she made little floss drops. Snickerdoodle Stitch, Kathleen, she gave out these beautiful needle minders that were like galaxy, and you could kind of choose the galaxy you wanted. And she also gave our table this little scissor fob, very pretty scissor fob, and this is a little piece of fabric with like stitching on it under the capuchon. So that was very pretty. Thank you very much, Kathleen. I believe Kathleen gave us the scissors too. Could be mistaken. And then also got another little scissor fob here. I think this is the lady who came in from Costa Rica. Gave these. And then this is really cute. A lady walked around with these as an idea. I think she saw it at another retreat. It's a little matchbook case. You know, those who can remember matchbook cases. A little matchbook case. And it's snarky cross stitch, and there's a little piece of wool in here, and it's to hold your needles. So in your like little travel stitchy stash or whatever, you hold your this little piece of wool felt to put your needles in for traveling. So I thought that was a very cute idea. Okay, and then lots of little bags of candy and stuff were being handed out. So I did have some haul. I was pretty good, I will say that. I have some other haul here too, so I don't want to try not to lose it. So Gary and Ronnie had set up a small little annex of their shop. They had trunk show from Erica Michaels, Hands-On Design, Stitchy Pro. I think that's it, who they had a trunk show from. And then Gary and Ronnie had floss packs kitted up for their exclusive charts. They had some floss packs kitted up. There was like enough floss packs for like every attendee to be able to get a floss pack. Some exclusive patterns. They had an exclusive pattern from Ink Circle, kitted up with fabric and flosses, or just the flosses, or just the fabric. I didn't purchase that pattern. It was a really cute Ink Circles one that was beachy themed. And then they had a bunch of other stuff for sale. And then hand-dyed fabrics from Stephanie was there. So first, let's go through the fabrics that I purchased from Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Granted, she was very popular. Her fabrics went pretty quick. And over the weekend, I bought these throughout the weekend because it was like the first day. It was such a rush. I kind of grabbed like the key pieces, like I really want these pieces. And then when I go back, I'm like, oh, that piece is still there. Yeah, I really like it. Let me get it while it's here and I'm seeing it and stuff. So this first piece is Rhiannon 32 count Lugana, hand dyed by Stephanie. Very pretty. And I'm trying to find a place to put all this. This one is Perfectly Plum, 28 count Lugana. I do like these bold, bright colors. And one thing I like about Stephanie, she has some modeling, but it's like subtle modeling. You know, it's not like really noticeable in your face modeling. It's a subtle modeling. So I really do love Stephanie's fabrics, and she's very sweet lady. This next one I really love. It's a 32 count linen called Driftwood. I don't know if you can see it, but it does have some peachy pinky undertones in the fabric. This is Driftwood. This one's really pretty. I wish I would have grabbed chocolate milk. They did have chocolate milk, but I didn't grab it in the beginning because it's a little too neutral, and I don't really do a lot of neutral. I kind of go for the color. This is 36 count linen Spellbound, which I think would be great for a Halloween piece. I actually have like some pieces that are monochrome, all black, quickery type pieces, Halloween, that maybe would look really good on that. So Spellbound, that's gorgeous. Wish it was 32, but they had it in 36 and I grabbed it. 36 count Jack's Rum. I have stitched with Jack's Rum before. Did a little there's a hands-on design pattern that calls for it. It is, I'm not going to say what the color looks like to me, but it's a very mustardy, olivey, mustardy brown color. So it's a good color for fall stuff. And the last piece I got is Busy Izzy, a 32 count Lugana, which I think would look great with some spring or maybe a Mira. That's very pretty. So that is the fabric I bought. I did pick up the floss pack for the Stitching in the Wild pattern by Rami's Creations. And it has, goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 Rami's Creations flosses in here. And it only has like 4 DMCs. So I did pick this up because I will stitch this. I'm not sure if I'll put the words at the bottom, but I do like the crazy little animals. And I thought too, like, you know, one day if you're ever need to do a smalls exchange, these crazy little animals. I think Kathleen, Snickerdoodle Stitch, she participated in the smalls exchange. I didn't participate in the smalls exchange. Kathleen participated in the smalls exchange, and the lady stitched this little guy for her. I think the story Kathleen tells in her videos, the story is the lady forgot her smalls at home, and when she got there Thursday morning and got her goodie bag, which had this free pattern in it, she hurried and stitched this and then finished it at the retreat and had it ready for the smalls exchange. So I thought that was pretty cool that, you know, she did all that. Sorry, crinkle, crinkle. There is also a exclusive pattern to go around Stitchery. It is by Teresa Kogu, and it's called Sunshine and Blooms. It says, "My heart sings with sunshine and blooms." And this is a, Gary had this stitched. The lovely thing, if you watch Gary and Ronnie's video, he said he was doing a lot of model stitching. He stitched up the Frankenstein with the hand. He stitched up the little Wild Thing guys I just showed. He stitched this as a stitched retreat. The ink circles ones I mentioned, he had that stitched. The 2 Stitchy Pros. So he had all these exclusive designs or freebies stitched. And seeing, as you probably know, when you go into a store in your local needlework shop, when you see something stitched, you do tend to buy it because you see it finished as opposed to computer generated. So this was a exclusive to Garon Stitchery by Teresa Kogu, Sunshine and Blooms, and they had it kitted up with floss and fabric. And the fabric that it calls for, and I did buy an extra thing of the fabric in a different count. The fabric it was designed for is, or the fabric Gary stitched it on, was Grandma's Slip by XU Designs. So it has like some yellowing to it. Let me put something behind it. So it's got, see the aged, like yellowy designs, yellow color in it. And one side can look a little brighter than the other, so you can just pick which side of the fabric like you want to stitch on. In my mind, which just went somewhere, but I'm not going to share it because it's a little crude and rude, but my friends will know what my mind is thinking of. So anyway, I picked up the kit for 36 count, and then I bought another piece of this fabric in 32 count because it is a good neutral. I may start this soon. It's not quite my style, but as a nice you know, memento from the retreat and friends. Maybe I can see when some of my table mates may start it, and we can start it together. I know quite a few of the ladies were starting this at retreat. There was a whole table that started it at retreat. So I got that. And then I got 2 more patterns at the retreat. Stitchy Pros. She's a fairly new designer. We were speaking with her. Oh, I can't remember her name. Very lovely young lady. She was there, I think, traveling with her. I think she had her baby with her and her husband traveling, but she had her trunk show set up and her patterns, and I totally missed this on my first walkthrough in the shop. And then we're, of course, you know, you get back to the table and you talk with your table mates. Hey, what did you get? What did you get? And we're looking at things, and Kathleen had picked this up, and I was like, I did not see this. And Kathleen said she didn't see it either till she was checking out in line, and she went and checked it out. But I had to get this. I've never stitched a biscornu before, but this one is Merry Meowmas biscornu. And you have a cat as a reindeer, as Santa, a snowman, and a gingerbread. We were sitting down figuring out what the cats were all done up as. So it's Merry Meowmas. And she had Meowster Mash biscornu. So it looks like we got a wolfman, cat, a witch cat. There's like a Frankenstein cat and a vampire cat. These are too cute. And they're small. You know, 3 inches by 3 inches. I need to start these. I really do. They're very cute. And I was talking to her, and she said, yes, she does have ideas for some other seasons. So it's just like, take my money. But I'm hoping to start these soon. And then I went over to the cross stitch cupboard on Saturday and met up with my table mates who were stitching, who went to the cross stitch cupboard to do some shopping. So I was on my way south. I was running late because I had an appointment. I was running on my way south, and I figured, let me just go by the cupboard and meet up with them, because if you've never been to the cross stitch cupboard, it's a small shop, but it is jam-packed full. And there is a lot to look at, a lot of shop samples. Her Christmas corner, her Halloween corner, her seasonal stuff. She has a ton of shop samples. She's got a ton of like new stuff, old stuff, lots of stuff. She's jammed, and it's always so much fun to go in there and shop and look and see what you find. I'm there all the time, and I always find new stuff that I haven't seen before, and I swear I've looked in every inch of that store. Karen, the owner, is super sweet. It was just her there on Saturday, and she was doing a fabulous job while her shop was just jam-packed with stitchers, and thankfully all the stitchers were very nice and very sweet and very patient with her while she accommodated the rush. And then I was trying to help out my table mates if they needed to find something. I'm familiar with the store. I was helping them locate stuff in the store. So I did find this one I hadn't seen. It's from the Heart Needle Art. By Wendy, and it's Hannah's Christmas, and it's all these little smalls for Christmas. And I thought that's very cute because they don't scream Christmas, but they look like little sampler motifs. So I thought they would be really cute little smalls to stitch up. And then I was digging through her patterns, and I found Bright Needle Dollhouse, which I think is super cute. That might be really cute for a little girl's room or something one day. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll have some great nieces or something who will be very girly, and I'll stitch it for them. Or maybe one day I'll just stitch it for myself and hang it here in my sewing room. And then she had this one, Needlework Shop. Like I said, Karen has some old stuff hanging around, and you never know what old thing you may find. So this is Bright Needle Needlework Shop. And it's just like a cutout pass-through of a needlework shop. So that looks like it'd be fun to stitch and hang in my sewing room. Okay. And then at retreat, Gary and Ronnie were very generous. They had quite a few giveaways for projects or giveaways for like thank you. It was customer appreciation. Thank you giveaways. You can draw your name or whatever. And it was project bags. We had, oh goodness, we had quite a few winners at our table who won, I think, the project bags. I think I'll say we had 3 people, including myself, at the table. So my name was drawn and I won a set of project bags, which is the little project bag and the larger project bag for Miami. And it just has star fabric in the inside. So I won a set of project bags from Gary and Ronnie. They did do a raffle for St. Jude. I think it's St. Jude Children's Hospital. They raised $1,000. And then they had a ton of giveaways and prizes for those who bought raffle tickets for the St. Jude giveaway. So congratulations on raising $1,000 for St. Jude. Okay, so I have a little bit more cross stitch haul to share with you, and then we will get into counted canvas. Let me gather these up here because they fell on me and I want to make sure I have them all. I saw on Vicki Clayton's Hand Dyed Silks on her Instagram page that she had this set of perfect, she was calling it Perfect Red. And it was a set of 6 spools, 25 yards a spool, reds you could buy from her site. I've never stitched with Vicki Clayton Silks, and I've always wanted to try Vicki Clayton Silks. But when I saw this little pack of reds that she was offering, I figured, what the heck, let me try it, because reds I can always use for Christmas or Valentine's Day stitching, or if I ever have some desire to do like a monochrome like red work piece or something. So those are very pretty. They just came in perfect red, 6 different shades of red. And since I had that order coming in, I tried a sample pack of a mystery spool. So I forget, I want to say they're maybe $4 a spool. And this is also hand-dyed silk, 6-stranded hand-dyed silk, 25, and I drop one, 25 yards to a spool. And you can try to request a specific colors or colorway. I asked if we could get just all random blues, but it didn't happen, which I'm fine. So I got these 5 mystery colors came in. This one kind of has like a really deep eggplant-y feel, a very deep gray blue, yellowy brown, a green, and like a kind of a gray black. So that was what I got in the samplers, which I'm very happy with. 25 yards to a spool, I'm sure at 6 strands. I'm sure I could do some good monochrome work with that. So those came in. And then the last of the cross stitch haul over the past month is, I found this online and I didn't realize Laura Perrin Designs did cross stitch. I thought she was just counted canvas work, but this is Happy or Pumpkin Harvest. It says Happy Thanksgiving. I'm not going to do the words at the bottom. I think I'll just do the pumpkins. And I found it online on eBay, I believe, with all the called for flosses. So I think when I stitch it, I'm just going to do the line of pumpkins and do it as like a thin little small, or maybe even a drum finish or something. It's calling for it to be stitched on mono canvas, because you can kind of tell, I guess, that she was a needlepoint, counted needlepoint designer, but I'll stitch it on some linen or something. So that was cute. And then Passion Racomo, she had a 20th anniversary special book you could order. And I ordered this special 20th anniversary book. And it has instructions to create this sampler. I guess this must have been a, it's in Italian. A lot of it is in Italian. But she does have English translations in it, but it's a 20-year celebration anniversary sampler, and it has all the patterns in here, which are in color. And I'm seeing if I can get to like what the finished thing looks like. It's printed on very high quality glossy paper. And so that's the finish. It's like a castle, and then fairies dwell here. It says fairies dwell here. Can't tell what the rest of it says. It's very small. Oh, fairies dwell here, and it has something in it, looks like in Italian or something. But it says Passion Raccomo. It has the castle, fairies dwell here, and then it's like different faces of some of her different fairy designs as like a sampler. So I thought that was very cute. Even if I do it and I decide to leave off the Passion Raccomo or not stitch the castle or something, or leave off the top, you know, I could adjust the borders maybe and just do the fairy faces, or use the faces as smalls. That's really nice. Really nice book. Very high quality book. She'll give you a pattern where it'll show like just the stitching, and then with the back stitch over it. So it's very, very good book. Very good pattern. So I picked that up. You may still be able to get it if you go to Passion Raccomo's website. Okay, now for those who've been waiting, let's get into the counted canvas needlework. I am busy on my counted canvas and I've been enjoying it. So this first piece, it was a whip. I did have it started. It is Holiday Delights, Valentine's Day by Needle Delights Originals. I had the canvas all charted, drawn out with my design, and I had this little block here started. And then it sat for like months on end. So I finally picked it up, and it took about a week, and I finished it. It is stitched with Carolyn watercolors, cotton thread, and DMC pearl cotton on 18 count monoco and 18 count mono canvas. So there it is, all stitched up. And there's some dimension. I don't think you can see it on these hearts here. It does have some dimension to it, but the way you had to do those stitches. So all of these hearts, these hearts, these hearts, it was the way, I forget what you call them. It was the way you did the hearts. So I'm very happy with that one. I don't know why I let it sit for almost a year with only this little bit done, but I picked it up and finished it, and very happy with it. I'll show you my back. My back, I think, is fairly neat. Very happy with my stitching. So there's that one. And then I had this next one I picked up when I was up at Gary Leesley Needle Arts in Leesburg, Florida. He has a shop that has a great variety of all different crafts in it, cross stitch, some needlepoint weaving, looms, all kinds of stuff. And he has a lot of old stuff, vintage stuff too. So I found this as like a little kit in Gary's shop, and it had flosses, it had the pattern, the flosses, and like the little accent pieces to it. Some of the flosses I don't think kind of went with the pattern. There's more threads than what I needed for the pattern. But it was called, it's a Susan Porcher Designs, the Cabochons Harmony. And it came with these little cabochon things, and the kit that I picked up had all the needed flosses and stuff. There's like neon rays and Rhapsody, different kinds of fancies. There's beads on it and stuff. It didn't have the peachy color mono canvas. I did mine on white mono canvas because I figured, maybe it'll brighten up, make it look a little more modern. So this too took about a week to stitch. You can see the neon rays ribbon here with the sheen. This is the Rhapsody. And then there's like metallic going here. There's beads, bugle beads all in here. This is metallic in here. So it's it called for like these French knots to go over top of all the stitching around these kinds of shapes. But I started it and I didn't like the look of it, so I left it off. And then I attached the cabochons, which was kind of fun to figure out. So I think that is super pretty, and I do like it on the white instead of the peach. I don't know, I just feel like it makes it a little more bright and a little more modern, so to speak. So I'm not quite sure how, you know, what I'm going to do with it, how I'm going to finish it or anything. I got to think on that because I've never, you know, I haven't finished a lot of canvas stuff before. But I am super happy with it, and it was my first time using this like neon rays and this Rhapsody and using my needle trolley, which is like a laying tool to help get the ribbon, you know, to lay flat and straight. So it had some new techniques I wasn't familiar with. And these cabochons, they're just like little metal prongs that you poke through the canvas and then bend the prongs back. So there's that. Very happy with that. And then I do have some haul. These are some great eBay finds I found for super cheap. The first one is Zigzag 2 by Needle Delights. And it has all of the silks. Threadworks Vineyard silk. Super cheap. All of the silks I got with the pattern. So I've never worked with a Vineyard silk before. That'll be interesting. I found Rainforest Crunch with all of the watercolors, called for Floss. Got that super cheap off of eBay. And I love these Needle Delights originals because you just kind of draw out and grid your canvas, and her patterns are so well written. I saw this one and I thought it would be fun to try. 4-way Bargello. And I picked some threads that I kind of want to update it and modernize the colors. I just randomly picked these up at the Michael's one day. This is a variegated Suspargo number 5 pearl. I don't think I'll use it because I'll be too busy, but I picked these up and I need to get one more color, and I'm thinking I'm going to throw in a teal. So this looks like a lot of fun to try to do 4-way Bargello. Found this one, Florentine Christmas ornaments. So it's like Bargello. Each ornament is a different kind of Bargello technique. So it's just got old school, circa 1999, all the instructions, and it tells you which order, like which one of these to start with, and then go from there. So I found that. Here's another one I picked up, Tranquil Dreams by Carolyn Mitchell. So I don't know if I'm going to do it in these colors or try to do a conversion into a different colorway. So there's that one. And the last one I got recently is a regional quilt series by From Nancy's Needles. It's Amish Trip Around the World. So this colorway is one of the bright colorways, but the kit I purchased is the the kit that I got off of eBay was the earth tone colorway, which I'm fine with. And this one just looks easy as can be because you just start with the squares in the middle. I forget what the stitch is called. I want to say goblin or something. Don't quote me. And then you just got from the center. And this one came with the canvas. The Rainforest Crunch one came with the canvas. So I have my canvas mounted on my stretcher bars, and I have my center marked. So I'm ready to start this one this month. So that is my stitchy. If you followed me on Instagram, I did recently purchase fabric to start a quilt. So once I put all of this mess away, this young lady is going to start cutting out a quilt for a friend's second grandbaby. So I want to get that quilt going. And I got my sewing machine back from the repair shop and it's working. So I'm very happy. I'm going to sit here and just put on some Flosstube, watch some Flosstube while I cut out fabric. So thank you everybody for joining me. I wish I had some Flosstubers to recommend. I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of Flosstube just between work and then traveling with the retreat. I did watch all of Kathleen's. Snickerdoodle Stitch, so I suggest go over there, check her out. I did watch another Flosstuber, but she hasn't made a video in like 6 years, but she did a lot of counted canvas works, and she only had maybe 5 or 6 videos out, so I watched all her videos to see her counted canvas work. I'll try to link her in the box below, but thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone has a very safe Memorial Day. Remember, this is for those who gave all for our country. Just take a moment during this weekend to remember them and their families, and I hope you have a nice weekend, you know, with your family and friends, and a quiet weekend to just reflect on that and then enjoy the time with everybody. So thank you again, and I will see you at the end of June with my next update. Bye.